Cabbages are good for the vagina, pineapples are good for the vagina, and for men as well. And that is what we're going to be using today on this episode of Miss Mandi Throwdown. If there's anything that I absolutely love to throw down when I'm feeling lazy, is fried rice. Because if you have leftover rice and you don't know how to spruce it up, you can do absolutely anything to it. In this episode, I get to show you how we're going to be using pineapple in order to make pineapple fried rice. It's been highly requested, so let's get to it, baby. We're going to be starting things off with 1 diced onion. We've been cooking our onions for about 2 minutes. And we're going to throw in 2 cloves of diced garlic. Stir everything in. Throw in just a little bit of salt and just a bit of black pepper. We're going to be going in with a teaspoon of ginger. So we're cooking everything on medium-high heat. I'm going to proceed to add in our bell peppers. It's about half a bell pepper. Just going to stir that in. We're going to be sprinkling in just some sesame seeds, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder, some more black pepper, and then sprinkle in the rest of your garlic. We've used 3 cloves, so we've just added them in stages. So we're using about 4 rings of pineapple, and we're just going to start with half of it and sprinkle that in. Make sure you've diced them and don't pour everything in at once. Just for a little bit of a kick, we're going to be adding in our Kaz Organics chili flakes. This is going to balance it out with the sweetness of the pineapple. And then we're going to be adding in 8 drops of soy sauce. It smells so beautiful. I'm just going to be adding in just a handful of spring onion. Now I keep regulating the temperature, that's the most important thing. And then we're gonna sprinkle in a little bit more sesame seeds. This is optional if you don't like sesame seeds. For those who may not know, these are what are used to make sim sim, popular thing we ate growing up. And then you're gonna be adding in your rice. The best fried rice always comes out with rice that you made overnight. So I would highly advise that you make this rice the night before and then use it the next day or the day after. It makes it easier to break apart. You'll just notice they're single individual ones. And this is about 1.5 cups of rice. And if you're curious about how to make rice, if you keep messing up, just comment below and I'll definitely do an episode on this. So after you've poured in your rice, you're just gonna stir everything in. Looks like such a beautiful color. The rice was on really low heat when we put it in, so we're just gonna turn up the heat, and then we're gonna add in 8 more drops of the soy sauce. Now when I made this rice, I did not season it, or rather I did not put any salt into it because I knew I was gonna make fried rice with it. If you put salt in your rice when you're making it, the next day when you're making the fried rice, just make sure you regulate how much salt you're putting in. I'm gonna be adding in half a teaspoon of salt. Just make sure you regulate your temperature as you cook. It's very important. A lot of people like to cook the food on the highest heat, and that's usually not the best thing. Remember the rest of the pineapples that we hadn't used? You can throw in some in there. So you're gonna stir everything in. I'm going to be adding in dark soy sauce at this point because I kind of just want a little bit of deeper color. So this is about 8 drops as well. You can see the color transforming. I'm going to be adding in a little bit more salt and a bit more garlic. I'm going to add in another handful of spring onions, maybe a few more drops of dark soy sauce. I'm going to be adding in just a bit more sesame seeds. So if you want it spicy, if you don't want it with too much color, it's all up to you to moderate it. Just taste it to make sure you got it to the flavor that you want it. Just gonna turn off the heat, and it is time to serve. For those of you who have leftover rice,
probably some pineapple, and 15 minutes to spare, you can whip this up just like I did. I do want to dig in, but before I do that, I'd like to remind you that you, of course, need to let me know which other recipes you'd like for me to, throw down right in the comment section below. To top it off, I want you to, of course, comment, like, and definitely subscribe if you haven't yet.